I'd like to thank Tree and the executive for this great honor, being named a Hot Ottawa Voice, and I'm in such great company with Christine and Cameron. Now, I don't have any chapbooks for sale at the back, but what I do have to offer is my card, which has my website on it, where you can read some of my poems and see my editing process. You can see how I tear my poems apart. The first poem I'm going to read to you tonight is one that I wrote for Spanish class in response to an assignment to write 2 paragraphs introducing ourselves to the class. We were supposed to stick to the vocabulary that we'd learned so far. I've never been very good at obedience. Getting acquainted. You speak to me of children, parents, tables, and desks. Green grass grows under you, stars shine above your streetlights, rain wets your hair, but you dry it. When you reach for milk, it is there waiting for you. And as you walk, roads stay flat. You've never seen a crash. If you ask about me, where I'm from, expect a city, no more. Our flight to Europe this past spring was cancelled along with thousands of other people's, though at least we had the luck to be at home with our packed suitcase. The incident became a poem of the day. Grey cloud hovering. Hot ash spewing from a mountaintop, melting glacier as it goes, force of nature contaminating what it touches, leaving marks that scar the land forever. Life's sentence for the ones caught beneath, for those who breathe in particles, etching their way into lung, into skin, so bad planes won't fly. Those are the ones we know about, volcanoes that thrust their way above the earth, the ones we see on TV, the web. Others down the street hide behind glasses, nice clothes, and their eruptions aren't seen until too late. I've written a series of poems to my father. I'm only going to read a few tonight. One way I am obedient is I do like to watch the clock. The bewilderment of birds. Stay with me as I work this through. The yellow-breasted warbler and the crow's flight returning me to when I was young. I looked out on birds then too, heavy with color or none. I knew no names, nor could I see the wind they were free on, nor hear the cries they made. Glass and other sadnesses blocked my ears. My tongue was too small to speak. Black holes in the earth were where my memories crawled. If you cut them, still they live. This next poem is one of the first ones that was accepted for publication, and I remember the acceptance letter coming in. It was pretty nice after all the rejection ones that were wallpaper in my office. The title is from one of my favorite Stevie Smith poems, which has the line, I was too far out all my life, and not waving, but drowning. The poem is titled, Waving. I remember falling out of boats twice when I was little. The rush of dark, murky water, brown tangled weeds, panic, no panic, someone, you, Dad, jumping in to save me. You'd think I'd be afraid after, but I wasn't. My excuse the second time? Fascination, the fronds calling me. Even then, I knew it was deliberate. The water was friendly, kind, closing over my head. You weren't. Sorry, I know these aren't the most cheerful of poems. This next one was written as we were flying to California. Now, to fly to California, you have to research all the security restrictions of the states. So I went on Homeland Security's website, and I found out I was allowed to wear a gel bra, but not to wear gel insoles in my shoes. The best line on the website was, do not overthink these regulations. Buried. The land I'm flying over as I write these words is flat, like the bottom sheet of a bed, but with tidally delineated fields, then a road, then folds and folds of hills, leading to a ridge, light gold one side, dark the other. Clouds hover, looking innocuous from above, but not from underneath. I know, having been buried beneath pillows and furrows of white flesh, too heavy for my young bones. I sank into the earth, or at least wished I could. This is the last poem of the memories section. It took me a long time to figure out how to write this one, and then I read a beautiful poem by Sandra Ridley that inspired me. Childhood. The crib was happy time, flannel soft, cooing, the newness of adoration, her cheek nestled on yours. Whirls of tiny ears still closed to words, oh, you liked her young. As limbs stretched in a sea of white sheets, you liked her better, a parent under full moon hunting. Stars sought the rustled fumblings of a trapped bird, wings pinioned, all lost in the whoosh of furnace coming on, the ticking of vents. No back page comic muscles to help as she got older, just the scream of ripping, that tiny piece of flesh stones are thrown for. Imitating a rose bush took all her strength. Poetry and the newspaper for me are sometimes intertwined. This poem grew out of a case that I followed for 2 years. In Love, for Carissa Boudreau of Bridgewater, murdered by her mother on January 28, 2008. Sleet slid under rucked shirt, ice pooled against skin as twine your mother's knee held you tight against the river's side. She'd known your blue eyes, first stepped you round the living room, but space, face were what she needed now. That and purple proof, the bulging emptying of you upon the snow. Then, don't gasp, your soul won't know the fake rape of your legs to free herself. Oh, grief's great face swept her forward while you slid gravely down the bank. But love you never knew clutched you like their own sweet-skirted daughters searched branch by frozen branch. Even we who only read distress from far cared. Did anyone fill your chest with our roses? Tell you we hold you still as steel clangs so loud it will last her lifetime? This next poem grows out of my undergraduate degree in music, and I got in trouble for writing it during a concert. A prune-lipped old woman sitting behind me thought I was texting. It's a little hard to explain poetry sotto voce. Notes on notes. Listening to you play, chords crashing on a floodlit stage, clarinet colluding with strings waver. I remember my horns own sore, lips tight against gold metal, breaths quiver driving a line on. Do I miss it? My mind travels back to rooms tiny with years' hot sweat, watch propped on stand keeping time with scales running through boredom's stubborn face. Yes, there was joy in playing together, my part united in Brahms's grand whole. But always the need for piecework dragged me down. Back my mind goes back to cycling home for lunchtime rounds, trucks breathing hot on my thin neck. It wasn't worth it. Was only a mother's lost dream. I listen now with words, content. These last two poems were inspired by Barry Dempsey's recent reading at the Manx, in which he talked about how he takes his poetry students on poetry walks to help them learn how to write better. So I took myself on some poetry walks. I looked down in the morning. Sun glares through glass, heating floor to a furnace of oak, remembering bark, soaking sun. How the soft fur of caterpillars stroked striations, crawling with ants. The purple flickers of beetles' opaled backs, the way wind caught the thousand streams of baby spiders. Then boards remember up, up, to arms lifting greenwards, the glory of a day branch high, veins pulsing with fresh scrubbed light from low leaves' bristles. Ah, the floor remembers the trees low humming, calling to birds to land, to sing, to nest, eggs cracking, and the faint chirp chirp of tiny beaks, worms dangling overhead. The floor remembers as it lies there, hot, flat, varnished beneath my feet. And the final poem, I can't believe I got 2 poems in a row with chirping in it. I must have been bird-brained. And again, many thanks to the tree executive. The earth rotates. Some acts are best when sun starts chirping, choir calls echoing across a blush-filled space. Some when sun beats tattoos on heads, turning part lines red, shorts short. Some shine when shadows draw sharp. Others wait for dimming of blue to gray, the waft of smoke becoming wisps, becoming moths, batting stars as they flutter by. Some suit the flicker of screens seen through walked-by windows. Some the depth of sofas stretched cushions long. Some the curve of bone resting, skin touched. Others wait for lashes down, the dreaming leaps of stillness, bodies blanket bound. Thank you.